definitely comparable, if it's not better, for sure.
Okay, well, I mean, that's good, because if, sticking a pop filter on it made that big of a difference, then that's a good thing.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I in order to like accurately determine that, I probably need to hear both head to head. But yeah, it's fine.
Oh, sweet. Okay, well, I mean, I can live with that, because this is my backup mic that I would have to use like whenever I go out to the lake this summer and stuff. So
Yeah.
as long as I bring the pop filter, I can manage this okay.
Hey,
Oh,
guys,
absolutely.
guys, we're live. We've been
Oh,
live
cool.
for like 30 seconds.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet. Okay. I like that.
Yeah, we've just been hearing you guys talk about your lives, your lives. Like,
No, I mean, we were talking about pop filters,
Yeah.
but
Pop filters are our lives. Okay.
pop filters, yeah. Well, I mean, think about it. Without the pop filter, you have, and with the pop filter, it's magic. You
Yeah.
have, okay,
I'm gonna go on Periscope real fast and just tell everybody that we're
yeah,
live.
yeah. Sorry, guys, we had some technical difficulties and we had to plan out some stuff. So, excuse our late live start. I guess the correct terminology would be.
All right, so
Yeah, by planning stuff out, we mean having snacks. So just keep that in mind.
pretty much.
Having snacks
Yo,
and
you
playing
know
the
what that sounds
stupid John Cena song,
Yeah, I know.
David.
No, that sounded like the what is that? It sounds like the it sounds like a distress signal. Whatever you just it was like you do.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry about that.
Andy, where do you have like a soundboard or like what?
Yeah, how
Yeah,
are you
pretty
just
much.
playing all these random sounds, Andy?
Yeah, I'm a genius. I'm not gonna disclose.
Oh my
this,
God.
But
Yeah, you're not.
I have my
disclosing it.
ways,
Oh, okay. He's probably using one of his like 6 iPhones to look up stuff on YouTube.
Well, that would make sense, right?
Yeah, exactly. I'm just saying.
Yeah, well, for everybody that's
Yeah.
tuning in on Periscope right now, because I know a lot of people are like, what the fuck is going on? Okay, I did it on the live stream for Jailbreak Weekly. Didn't realize
David,
that,
this is a family show, David.
Well, okay, I'm used to being able to do it on Periscope, so I apologize. But,
Did you
yeah,
let
for those of you
something
guys...
slip there, David?
For those of you guys that are on Periscope right now, go over to the Jailbreak Weekly live stream. We're podcasting right now, episode number 40. It's gonna be
Yeah.
a great episode. You can't hear what these guys are saying, but I'm joined with Justin and Andy.
What's up?
And we always have a fun time.
Oh, and
You
tell
guys
them
can't
about the
hear
live
me
chat.
'cause-
Tell them about the live chat.
Oh yeah.
on
Also, interact with us in the live chat. Also, make sure to get us up to 300 subs. Right, we're at
300
290
subs.
something.
Yeah.
Winner of that, or not winner of that, the person that gets us to 300 subs will obviously get a shout out on Twitter. And yeah, so why not?
We're
Yeah, so
starting
make sure
momentarily.
to I'm gonna tweet out the link right now to join. So
Last name
Well,
ever,
yeah.
first name
Don't
greatest.
tweet out the link to join.
well,
Yeah,
no,
oh,
I
yeah,
wasn't
yeah,
going I wasn't. That's not.
We
what I
don't
meant.
want another Anthony.
Yeah.
We really need to find that clip and like
I have it somewhere.
you
It's
have that
stashed
clip. We
somewhere.
need that clip.
Yeah.
We need that
Yes,
clip. That
it's
clip
still
was
up there.
so funny.
Yeah.
Basically, some random guy, because we accidentally tweeted out the join link to our podcast as opposed to the listen link, so things kind of went.
Well, okay, and then we deleted the tweet, and some guy like
Have you guys started? Jared?
Oh my god, are you kidding me? Well, I guess we've been waiting long enough. To
We might as well at this point.
it's
Like, screw it.
Jarek's just like,
No.
hurry up, let's go.
Get on.
Oh my god, that's no. But we're starting like right now, dude. Dude,
I don't care.
we're starting right now. Come on, like,
I know.
oh my god.
We can
Oh
fill
my
Jarek
god,
in. It
I'll
doesn't
be
matter.
on in a sec. Are you kidding me? Oh.
No, no way. Are you kidding me?
Oh my
No,
Oh
I-
man,
that's what you
oh
said.
man.
No, there's not any jailbreak out, unfortunately. But I'm gonna tweet out the link.
Wait, hold up.
Um,
Is Jarek actually coming right now?
He
think
said he'll
so.
be on in a sec.
Okay, because like we need to start soon because we don't want to keep our live,
That's true. Yeah.
awesome live viewers waiting. So
Let's wait just like a couple minutes.
okay, we'll give Jarek a 2-minute window. By the way, just for anyone keeping score at home, This will be the first time in like a year that Jarek has podcasted with us, if he actually does come on.
Yeah.
So
This is gonna be crazy. This is gonna be for the
if
books.
Jarek, yeah, this is gonna be a fun show. If Jarek comes on,
Yeah.
this is gonna be a fun show.
this is
We
gonna be
haven't
great.
podcasted. Yeah.
Hold on one sec, guys. Hold up.
I'm gonna start like spamming Jarek with FaceTime calls.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Let me check out the Periscope stream too, because we've never done this before.
I'll just say, Jarek, you have 5 minutes.
Sorry, I'm kind of distracted. Okay. All right. Where's the link? So many links to keep track of. Okay. You have 5 minutes. Okay, good.
I'm back.
There we go.
All right. So now we're just waiting for Jarek to join, aren't we?
Yeah. So,
I'm back.
oh my god.
Sorry, Echo. There's like so much going on, but
Wait, are you watching Periscope too, Andy?
I clicked it for a second.
He must
Okay.
be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, like I said, make sure to join. Oh, there you go. The stream is getting really intense. Oh wow.
Intense.
Thank you, Felix.
I like
we
that.
appreciate that.
Intense.
Felix acts for Fjord. FJORD. Sorry if I
Yeah.
butchered your last
Yeah.
name. But yeah. What is this?
Okay.
So I'm podcasting right now. Jailbreak Weekly, episode number 40. Jailbreak Weekly is a podcast that I do with a few of my friends. And yeah, it's not gonna lie, not gonna be biased, but it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And
Check
a
us
big
out.
deal.
We're
they're
totally
like, we're a
not.
big deal, blah blah blah.
We're
but
totally
we
not
can't do
tooting
it
our own
because they're
horn
my
right now.
earbuds.
Totally not.
Yeah, totally
It's just
not
the
tooting
truth.
our own horns. When I have to install OS 10 Lion on a MacBook 4, 1, what does that mean?
What?
MacBook
Somebody-
Lion. I actually is it a Mac Mini? Because my Mac Mini had
No.
the latest OS that it could go to.
Andy
was
asked
Lion.
if it was a Mac Mini.
No,
it's an
Mac
early 2008
4,
MacBook,
1.
the white one. He said.
Yeah. Oh man, that sounds.
I don't
fun.
know the build identifiers for Macs. I'm not that good.
Yeah, I know some of them, but I don't know all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Justin.
Oh, by the
would be
way,
better than
are you
that.
guys into the "Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared" series?
I've never heard of it.
Have you never heard of "Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared"? Really? Andy, you need to like binge watch it. I feel like you would like really like it. It's actually like
Really?
funny because it's like it like starts off being like childish and educational, and then it's like it gets like super super dark. Like there's one about time, and then it's like as time goes forward, you get old, and it shows
Yeah.
like the characters like getting old and shriveling up and dying.
Yeah.
It's really dark.
That sounds pretty dark. I don't know. It might be too dark. That's the thing.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah. A
limit
little
to it.
bit. Guys, I think we should probably start, and if Jarek joins, he joins, and if not, he doesn't, kind of thing.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I guess so. Yeah.
'cause we
All right.
might-
Well, head on over the stream if you haven't already. We would really, really appreciate that. And yeah, we're gonna have a fun time. It's gonna be a fun show. And I'll stream later on for Jailbreak Busters. But right now, I'm doing my annual bi-weekly, even though it hasn't been bi-weekly for a long time, podcast. So
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well.
final warning, make sure to join, and thank you guys so much for joining this broadcast. Love you all, and I'll talk to you guys soon.
Slugs.
Make
Hugs.
sure to
Kisses.
Make sure
Hugs.
to show love in the stream, and yeah, make sure to go join the stream.
Oh yeah.
Guys. See
Let's
ya.
do this.
All right, I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm ready. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Oh yeah. Get psyched, Andy. Here we go.
See, that did nothing but actually help us.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
for
it's
those
good.
of you who
I like that.
for those of you who are on the YouTube stream, we do really appreciate it. And let's get this show started.
Yeah.
All right, sweet.
No pressure.
What's going on, everybody? Oh, well.
And he was like ready to start.
ready. I'm just itching to jump in. Here we go.
Do the count in, Andy, too, maybe just to make it easier to edit.
Before we do in the
Five,
count-in, I was just gonna I know like this is something we should have talked about before, but maybe it's not. Maybe this episode we don't have to, but I'm really feeling bringing that. I can't talk. Bringing back the bloopers at some point soon. Like I really want to do it.
I don't know. Yeah, we could talk about it. I don't know.
We'll talk about it
it's
off
fun.
air.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, here we go. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What's going on, everybody? This is Jailbreak Weekly episode. Oh my god, I don't remember.
40.
Episode it is.
40? Episode 40. Yes.
Okay, all right. I'm sorry. Here we go. What's going on, everybody? This is Jailbreak Weekly episode number 40. I'm your host, Andy Hoff. I've got my co-host David Burns with me today. What's up, David?
What's up, Andy? We have a little bit of a different show today because I don't know if he did this intentionally for episode 40 or not, but we have someone on our show again who has not been on an episode
Indeed.
in like literally 7-8 months. I don't
6
even know
months.
how long. 6 months.
No, it's been longer than that.
It's probably-
been 9
Wait,
months.
wait. He's actually here? He actually showed up?
Yeah, that's
he's
why
here
I said
right
that.
Well, we have Justin Wack, who's a regular host. What's up, Justin?
Not too much, and I'm really happy to be here. So I wrote a 5-hour physics final today, but you guys are
should
helping
be
me bounce
illegal.
back. So
It really
well,
should.
I mean, as a blind student, it takes me double time to write my final exams. So 2.5 hours is how long it would be for everyone else. For me, because I get double time and because it takes me longer because I use Braille,
Right,
it took me
that
5
makes
hours. So
Yeah,
it was really
I
fun.
tell you, that's rough, though. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
And we have Jarek Davis, the infamous, figure of the mysteriousness.
Yeah, just mysteriousness.
Yeah.
It
Nothing
feels so
much.
weird hearing your voice again.
this is Jarek.
I was on a call with you guys like last week.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but this is
y-
like official.
I know, he's on the podcast.
I know, what is
just to
going
give some
on here?
background.
Weird.
Jarek started as a host of the podcast back, I think about a year ago, and
Yeah.
he's been off for a while, so it's awesome to have you back. Seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously.
No,
dude.
Jarek, my only question is for you. Where is your Yeti, dude?
So problems with Mac OS Sierra. It won't recognize my USB mics.
Oh
That sucks.
Oh,
Thankfully, I didn't run into that issue because I'm running macOS Sierra right now. So
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's my setup or if it's because just like I upgraded instead of a fresh install, and so things are being weird.
I mean, it
yeah,
shouldn't
no,
be
I
like that.
upgraded too. I went straight from, and I was thinking about partitioning, but for some reason there was a bug for me where it just would not work. So I was like, all right, I'm just gonna update my regular driver. So I
Yeah,
did it.
so I mean, I tried with both Sierra, or not Sierra. I tried with both Safari and Chrome, and neither will recognize the Yeti, which is kind of
That's weird, dude.
Who knows?
Yeah.
If I had a Mac, which I don't, by the way, I'm still rocking my Walmart computer. But if I
Oh,
did
yeah,
have a Mac, I would not run betas on my primary partition. I'd probably
Yeah,
install one.
actually, I've been meaning to install. I mean, we'll get into the whole aspects of WWDC a little
Oh,
later
yeah.
in the show. But I have been meaning to install Sierra because how my Mac is set up, I have one of the old MacBook Pros. I think I have the same computer as Jarek, actually. And so because of that, I have 2 hard drives in my computer. So I can install OS 10 on, I can do a beta Sierra build on the other hard drive. So, you know what? Like, I'm excited about how everything's going to turn out for the beta cycle. And it's just been so busy with finals, so.
I gotcha. It seems like they do. Betas always come at a rough time for students. It's the end of the semester, and I mean, luckily, because I'm a senior, I finished like a month ago. But usually, it's a pain. I tell you, I know it's not the best timing. But we're gonna talk a lot about the betas, WWDC as a whole. So I guess because
Yeah.
we're a jailbreak podcast, obviously iOS related, we should probably talk about iOS 10 first.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well,
Long
and
rumored firmware.
realistically, I think most of our listeners probably by now know what's going on and what happened at
Exactly.
WWDC.
Yeah.
So I think maybe it might be better just to go over how, WWDC affects the jailbreak community a little bit, how, what the iOS 10 cycle might look like in terms of jailbreaks. And
Absolutely.
we've already actually seen some iOS 10 jailbreak news.
I know it's been pretty crazy lately. So shortly after iOS 10 beta 1 dropped, I Hate Snow, who's the legendary hacker, he tweeted out or he didn't tweet actually. It was a video that was uploaded to his YouTube account. Actually, it was just There was no title. It was like, .mov. Like there was no marketing whatsoever put into this video, but it's essentially just a video of an iPhone 5 on iOS 10 rebooting. He launches Cydia, so Cydia is fully functional. It's an untethered jailbreak because he reboots. And that's really all we know about this. I believe it had a custom boot logo as well, so that's probably utilizing an iBoot exploit, but don't quote me on that.
Okay, now...
So, yeah.
I mean, the iPhone 5 is an A5X device, correct?
It's A5.
Yes, it's a 32-bit, so the reason...
he's likely just using his existing...
Yeah,
iBoot
exactly,
Right.
and that's what many people are speculating,
Yeah. Well, another thing is, too, which Andy didn't actually point out, is, I mean, it does reboot, but also we could see he goes into, I guess it would be terminal. He went in and did a few commands and showed that the device can reboot, showed that, on screen, typing in commands showed that he had root access, that type of thing, so...
Yeah, exactly. And, he's obviously incredibly reputable. I mean, he's released jailbreaks in the past.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Again, as always with these jailbreak, demos, it's you shouldn't expect to release. iHateSnow hasn't released anything in quite a while. I believe the last thing he released was PosXpone, which was late 2013. So he's kind of out of the game in terms of releases. So this is probably just for a proof of concept. So just keep that in mind.
This week in Jailbreak Weekly History, brought to you in part by Andy Hoff, or in Jailbreak History, I guess. Is the
Well, I mean, just because he doesn't release anything doesn't mean he can't help out with releases.
Yeah, true.
He did help out with Penguin 9.
Keep in mind though, his exploit may only work for 32-bit devices as well. So, logistically, it's a bit of an uphill battle, but I mean, that's some pretty encouraging signs for a jailbreak of iOS 10, right? So.
Yeah, and we've heard rumblings with iOS 9.3.x that Cydia was broken and almost non-functional, and either that wasn't true or iOS 10 for some reason doesn't include whatever's breaking it. So Cydia seems to be fully functional, so that's good news as well, because a lot of the time that's a big issue post jailbreak, getting a functional Cydia. So that's always good news. Okay, so in addition to iHateSnow demoing his jailbreak, I just want to quickly touch on something else. Luca Tedesco, who is another reputable hacker, also, actually earlier today, he tweeted out an image of a jailbroken iOS 10 device as well. This one was a little bit different. It was just a picture, and it essentially had the pop-up saying Cydia hasn't been optimized for 64-bit devices, which is essentially something in iOS 10 that was added. So any application, Apple actually talks about this, when you launch any app that's not optimized for 64-bit, it'll basically tell you. So this is proving that he has a device jailbroken on iOS 10. So again, Luca Tedesco is not one to release himself. He has helped out with Penguin 9 as well, but don't expect any releases. So I just wanted to quickly touch on that.
Right. I mean, this is interesting because it's not like, Cydia hasn't been updated for 64-bit at all because it's the iPhone 6, the iPhone 5S, the iPhone 6S.
But
it's not like there hasn't been a jailbreak since the iPhone 5. I mean,
true.
But they're all still running 32-bit code. So,
that makes sense. So Sark never really updated it fully for 64-bit. Is, I guess, the conclusion.
As far as I know, no. And until now, there really wasn't a reason for it. And now the only real reason for it is the pop-up, which
I feel like that
is
could be
only half a reason.
Right.
Exactly. Because it's just once. I believe it's when you first launch the app, then you never see it again.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why we just found out about this today, because when iHateSnow demoed it, we had to have assumed that, especially because there was no reloading data or anything, but I think it was because some of the ways the files were stashed or whatever, but I'm pretty sure that wasn't the first time he opened up Cydia, which is the reason why we didn't see that pop up in iHateSnow's video. That's my speculation for that anyway.
Yeah, it's fair. Yeah, so again, don't be expecting any releases from either of these people. Again, maybe their code will be implemented into someone else's jailbreak, but not particularly from them. So we have some more jailbreak news as well. This is probably the most promising in terms of, our genuine interest. Essentially, Pengu is set to speak at MOSEC, which is a security conference that's held in China, I
Yeah.
believe.
Yeah, I believe it's in Shanghai. I believe,
Right,
if
yeah.
I remember correctly.
Yeah, and last year, this is the really promising aspect of it, at this event, they actually demoed the 8.3, iOS 8.3 jailbreak, which I believe those exploits were later utilized in their iOS 9 jailbreak tool. So, and they also, believe they were at a different conference later that year, and they also demoed an 8.4.1 jailbreak. So it seems like they like to demo jailbreaks at conferences. Obviously, there's no guarantee that that's going to happen, but
Right. Well,
based on their previous track
yeah.
record, it could happen. So.
Another thing that and you said that I want to highlight is the fact that they demo jailbreaks. Just because they demo it doesn't mean that we're going to see a release of it. That's the thing that I really want to highlight.
With a team like Pongu, though, who has done this a lot in the past, I think that it's 95% likely that if you see a demo from them, you're most likely going to be seeing maybe not a release for the same version that they demoed, but at least some of the code is going to be the same.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, it'll be later utilized.
That's generally how Pongu seems to function. Generally, they don't show something, it seems like, unless they want to actually use it for release.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And in their little introduction section on the MOSEC website, they said that they'll present and demonstrate in detail, this is a quote, how we installed a manipulated firmware on an iOS device is camera coprocessor, and thus gained arbitrary code execution in the camera. So I'm not a security researcher, so I can't really comment on that, but that certainly sounds like it could be promising. Jarek, since you're a security researcher, do you have any comments?
I mean, it is for those of you who know security at all, it's exactly what it sounds like. And I'm obviously not sure how exactly they're doing it, but that could very well be promising, as well as is just a very odd exploit. We've never really seen anything attacking coprocessors that I'm aware of for iOS, and it's common on other platforms, but this may play into the fact that they're Chinese and therefore have worked with other operating systems.
Well, and I mean, isn't Pangu also known for, their exploits being quite out of the ordinary?
Yeah.
Aren't their exploits generally not something that, North American or even European teams might think to use?
Well, I mean, another thing is that I think there's still I think they announced it in some form or another. I mean, Pangu 9 used like a confirmation. It went into the Photos app and said, Pangu would like to access your photos. Yeah. I mean, when I first saw that pop-up, I was like, okay, gotta get my tinfoil hat. I was like, why is there a pop-up that says Pangu would like to access your photos? Like, are they trying to look into my stuff to see? And then I started thinking about it. I was like, well, does Pangu really care enough to like look at all these people's devices and their photos? Nah. So that's why I was like, okay, it must be something to get in or whatever.
And a note for that, it's obviously just because through the camera app you have access to the file system. So that's very different than attacking the camera coprocessor, where it's an exploit in the actual hardware, versus just the Photos app.
Okay.
Yeah, there's two. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's my understanding that hardware exploits are usually more difficult to find, or maybe a little bit more complex. So.
Generally more complex, as well as generally much more persistent. It's hard to patch hardware.
Right.
Right. So this is one of the kind of things that can't really be patched with just a simple minor update. They're probably going to have to work harder to patch it, right?
Well, I mean, of course, because I haven't seen the proof of concept or the code at all, I don't know for sure, so don't take my word on it. But generally, it would require a firmware update, which would require much more work than exploiting the Photos app.
Right, gotcha. So it sounds promising. Again, I'm very excited for the conference. It's being held on July 1st. So
which means
we usually hear news.
Which means it's before Jailbreak Con, which means that we might actually have a jailbreak.
Somebody
jailbreak.
predicted
jailbreak,
that.
yeah.
I think it was you, Justin, wasn't it? Somebody
Well,
predicted
okay,
you were gonna see
because we
something brand new
predicted
in
it, it
Jailbreak
probably
Con.
means that it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, I know.
Realistically,
that's a very fair statement.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
if you
you
go
know
back
what?
to
I
the
predicted-
Christmas
yeah.
episodes, we predicted. It
Oh
was gonna
my
come out
God.
during
I predicted it was
Christmas.
gonna be out on Christmas or on New Year's, and on the Chinese New Year, and I was wrong for all three of them. So
Just every holiday, we just predict it's gonna come out. Justin's
Valentine's
birthday, it's
Day.
gonna come out.
there's gonna be a jailbreak on 420.
I mean, that's much more likely than any of the other predictions.
It's security researchers.
Yeah, I mean, you never
There's gonna be a
know.
jailbreak on 4. You know, guys, I think that might have to be our episode title: Jailbreak on 420. The 420 jailbreak. There we go.
Possible names. I will keep that in mind.
The 420 jailbreak.
Well, you're gonna have to give us credit for that, Jarek.
Yes,
Yeah. You
obviously,
better give us
obviously.
credit for that. Yeah.
Obviously, if I were in theory to release a jailbreak named 420 Jailbreak, it would be listed in the source code. Thank you, Andy and Justin. 420 Blaze, weed is life.
Does it sound like unthreaded, JB?
Oh yes.
That was the goal.
we
That was-
released.
I'm just making sure
JB.
that was what the goal was. Okay.
I was gonna say he sounds like someone else, but
Somebody else. Yalu. I mean, what?
Oh, did you see that tweet when Luca tweeted like the rivers of Yalu are still working or still in function, something to that extent? I don't know. I was like, all right, our jailbreak is going to speculate in 3, 2, 1. Like, they're gonna be like, oh, Yalu for 9.3.2.
Top of our jailbreak, 400 comments exactly.
Yes.
I don't understand why our jailbreak is just so quick to jump to conclusions that
I
you're
don't
just
have.
gonna-
Well, I mean, look, I understand that our jailbreak has its use.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know it can be. And look, I mean, I'm sure a lot of our viewers go on our jailbreak, and
Yeah,
I just
do
want to.
sometimes.
I just want to clarify. I have no problem with the people on our jailbreak. The thing that I have a problem with on our jailbreak is the constant speculation. That's why I don't usually go on there. Is because there's so much constant speculation that usually doesn't lead anywhere. So that's kind of why I
Yeah,
don't go on
usually.
there. Yeah, I mean for the most part.
Yeah, keyword is usually there.
But I mean, yeah, but it looks really promising for iOS 10. I think personally, like especially if Pongu has this coprocessor exploit that they are, going to be demoing. Like hopefully that can carry over into iOS 10. The only thing that concerns me is if they're showing it in detail, it is also possible that it's already been patched.
Yes.
Yeah, it's possible.
Something to note also
Okay.
that just popped into my head. Coprocessor exploit would be much more inherently dangerous, as that's what covers Touch ID processing.
Okay.
So
Oh yeah, that's
it
makes
may
sense.
not ever see a full public release if that's the case.
Just because of how dangerous it could be. Is what you're
Possibly, but they are also Chinese.
So
They hold
anything
themselves to
goes.
different standards than American and European researchers.
That's
So
true. Yeah.
Right. Very interesting. Now, this is like some of the most interesting news we've had in weeks,
Yeah.
months.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Years,
There's
possibly,
definitely good
I-
things coming up. I think.
I wouldn't say that is. I think the most interesting news is the fact that the kernel was decrypted in the iOS 10 beta. But
Yeah, that was interesting.
Yes. So, what does that mean, Jarek? I mean,
Yeah,
could you
talk
shed a
about
little
what
light on that,
happened
maybe?
there.
Okay.
I don't think we or our viewers
Yeah.
have a full understanding.
and I guess I'm kind of like one of the leading spokesmen for things happening there right now. So
Not to toot your own horn or anything.
Not to
but,
toot my
Kind
horn
of
or
a big
anything.
deal over here.
Kind.
Toot. Yeah, we need
Just
Andy. Get your
saying.
air horn. Come on, dude. This is the one time. This is the one time.
You had
The one time I'm
job,
actually
Andy.
asking for the air
One
horn.
Job.
Okay,
Yeah, one
okay,
job
alright.
to
hang
do.
on. You know what? This error might be copyrighted, so I'm not gonna play it because I.
Oh my.
That's true. We don't want to run into copyright issues.
Church,
Um,
like, please don't. Please just shut up, Justin. Shut up now.
Pretty much, yeah. But it's like a constant state of being. Like, oh, Justin.
Oh, we should tell them the story about the Lyft ride on the way to Jailbreak.
Oh, I mean, we could, but that's probably not safe for work. So.
Oh yeah.
So iOS 10 kernel, it was decrypted, and something that security researchers have run into time and time again is encrypted kernels and boot sectors on iOS, meaning Apple, they encrypt all of it, and Apple has the keys, which are not available. So we're unable, without some sort of low-level exploit, to see exactly what's happening. And with iOS 10, we have a decrypted kernel,
Interesting.
which means we can see all the kernel. Um, I've got a website up with disassembled and readable kernels that I've been working on for the past week, uh,
I
as
feel
well
it.
as it's just been a bit documented so far.
Yeah.
Which something really big that we get out of this is anybody and everybody can go, without a low level exploit, can go and see how something called KPP works, which has been a mystifying problem for the jailbreak community since it was implemented in iOS 9.
I wonder what Apple's rationale behind decrypting the kernel
Exactly.
is.
Yeah, like what
Um,
was their?
so so
I'm
something to note: we have no idea if this was intentional or completely accidental.
I have a feeling it's accidental because I just can't logically like think up an explanation for why they would intentionally do
See,
this.
David, I disagree. And the reason I disagree is because I don't think that Apple is going to do something that big by accident. Like, I
Yeah.
really don't
So
think they're going to
That's true.
keep the kernel decrypted by
Yeah, that's a
accident.
fair point.
so my
That's true.
personal opinion on this, and this is my opinion, not backed by any evidence or anything. I agree with Justin. I highly doubt Apple would release something, release a screw up that big without noticing. Um, so what it likely is KPP hasn't fully been broken yet, and everybody knows all code is vulnerable, and they've likely gotten a little bit nervous. So with it being open, they have a better shot at white hat hackers finding bugs in KPP and submitting patches and fixes to that, just to them. So not only does it help us, but it also does, in a sense, help them.
Yeah. So, just for people who don't know, Jarek, what's the difference between a white hat and a black hat hacker? Because I know people like us might know, but maybe some of our listeners don't quite know what that terminology means.
Okay, so there's a couple different kind of hackers. White hack is often known as the good guys. They are either contracted or do bug bounties, and they send the exploits back to the company of the product, so that the company can fix it. And then there's gray hat, which is kind of what we consider the security researchers in the jailbreak community. They're not quite white hat because they're not sending it back to Apple, but they're not quite black hat for reasons I'll get into in a moment. And then there's black hat, which those are the bad guy hackers, the one who's stealing bank accounts, etc., etc. And I mean, obviously, no jailbreak security researcher, at least that we know of publicly, is full black hatting, stealing bank accounts,
Yeah, yeah.
causing mischief in the stock exchange, etc., etc. So those are kind of the differences there.
Interesting. Yeah, I think the kernel being decrypted is a big sign. And I mean, I'm kind of surprised that, and like that's the thing is, I am surprised that Apple would release this purposely, but the rationale does make sense in a
And
way.
something else that I've seen highly speculated amongst those who are technically enabled per se, is that Apple's just moving to a more open um, code
My
idea,
yeah,
uh, because there's a lot of pressure from Android and other companies being open
yeah.
source and succeeding,
See,
and their logic has kind of started to die a little bit as Android's becoming more secure. The being open source makes it inherently insecure argument is starting to die down a little bit, and
my only issue with that though is the whole encryption stance that they took with the FBI stuff happening, a few months ago, where it's quite, I don't want to say hypocritical, but
something to note there. There's a major difference between the kernel being decrypted and the file system being
I know,
encrypted and decrypted. They're very completely different topics, and in reality, no way relate to each other.
Oh no, I know, but like when they take that big of a stand on encryption in general, even of the file system, like you would assume that would also carry over to everything else that they do. But apparently it doesn't. So,
I mean, yeah, from a non-technical standpoint, that point of view makes entire sense. But I think from any of our technical listeners are going to understand that those don't relate whatsoever at all. Completely different topics, completely different arguments. One is the open source and one is the user security argument. And you can be open.
Hello?
I think we might have lost Jarek. Is Jarek still there?
No, I don't think so.
He's still
But
in the call. He's just,
I think what he was saying is you can be open source, but you can be secure. So, is what he was saying. But
Yeah, so sorry for the technical difficulties, guys.
but
Please,
yeah,
please bear with us while we try to figure this out. But yeah, I think we might have lost Jarek, which is
yeah, I think so. But yeah, I mean, it's looking like a really interesting cycle. So just as a side note, Andy, you did a video detailing all of the jailbreak tweaks that Apple copied, correct?
Not all of them, but
okay.
I demonstrated 10 of them.
10 of them.
I mean,
so there's
I wanted
more
to
than
talk about a few.
10.
Yeah, there were so many. I mean, it's not necessarily big things, but it's just
Yeah,
little
yeah.
small jailbreak
Yeah.
tweaks baked in here and there. So
Yeah.
yeah, I figured I'd just talk about a few on the podcast. And it looks like Jarek's back, by the way.
Oh, Jarek is back.
yeah. There you go.
There we go.
Sweet. So yeah, I guess we'll just talk about a couple. So let's jump in straight to the lock screen on iOS 10. Essentially, if you slide over on the lock screen, basically to the right, you could now access these widgets. It's essentially the same thing as the Today view. However, it's been redesigned and everything looks a little bit more widget-like. There's these white little bubbles or white square circles, for example, for things like stocks, weather, calendar, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And there's a jailbreak tweak called Convergence, which it's an older one. It hasn't been updated in a little while, but
Oh, that
just
was
the
huge
design
when it
of
came out.
yeah, just the design of the Convergence widgets in comparison with iOS 9 is just incredibly similar. Just in terms of the blur consistency, the shape, the design language, and just like there's a few aspects of it that look just ridiculously similar. So again, widgets just as a whole have kind of been taken, but also just the direct design of this one tweak. So
Okay. Yeah.
that was just pretty shocking to me. It's kind of hard to explain, but I do feature this one in the video, so if you want to check that out, you could go ahead. So yeah, so there's that one, and then there's notification cards, which was actually a tweak that groups your notifications in your notification center on a app by app basis. So for example, if you had a notification for, let's say, Snapchat, and then you had a notification from the Messages app, it would group them separately in two separate bubbles. In iOS 9 and earlier, everything was just clumped together in one big heap, and it was a mess. But now iOS 10 essentially adopts the notification cards-like functionality from the tweak, and it's baked in. So now there's individual bubbles for essentially every single notification from a different app. So that's convenient. And then this is a big one that you guys will be happy about. 3D touch to clear all notifications.
It only took them a year.
Yeah, finally. I've been loving this feature. I woke right up as soon as I heard you say that.
It only took them a year. Like, geez.
Yeah. I've been running iOS 10 beta on my phone, and I've been using this. Oh, it's so awesome. I love it. The only thing that I don't like, which I think could be improved in jailbreaking, and I think it is because this was a jailbreak tweak beforehand, and that's why I'm so used to it being a different way.
If you say grabby board, I swear.
No, no, I'm saying because there's the deeper notifications, peek and pop, whatever. But I just don't love the fact that in order to clear them, you have to 3D touch on the X because the X is kind of little. So it's like sometimes a
Exactly.
little bit difficult to
Oh,
touch on it.
yeah. See, as a voiceover user, I don't really have to worry about that stuff as much. Just the way that voiceover, it's hard to explain, but just the way that
Yeah.
voiceover works, I don't have to worry about that as much as
Yeah.
someone who's sighted. But I'm not even on the beta yet, because this is really sad. I don't know which of my devices to update.
Yeah, I went through that problem myself, but I was like, you know what? I'm getting off of
problem.
9.2 on my 6S.
Well, okay, so most of my devices aren't even compatible. Like, I've got a 3GS, an iPod Touch 4, and a 4S. All of them are not compatible. I've got a 5S on 7, and I want that to stay on 7, because that's, like, amazing with 7. It's, like,
Yeah.
the most solid phone I've... Aside from the 6 with 9, or the 6S with 9, it's, like, the most solid phone I've ever used. But at least that one has a jailbreak, and I don't have a jailbreak on my 6S. And then my 6 is on 8, but it's the most recent jailbroken phone that I have. And so what I'm probably going to do is, if there's no jailbreak out for 9, for JailbreakCon, that's just the phone I'm going to be using for the weekend. So I'm going to want to have a jailbroken phone for JailbreakCon. So I'll probably update my 6 after JailbreakCon to
Really?
the beta.
I'd update your 6S because your 6S is already on 9.3
The-
point X.
No,
so
it's not. It's
jailbroken.
on 9.2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well, still
and
not jailbreakable.
the only other issue with the 6S is because, like, I'm going down to the States and stuff. Like, I don't want to have to worry about my phone
Right.
not working
Right.
and having to
that's
restore.
fair.
So that's why. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited. It's gonna be good once I get the betas on. So
Definitely, yeah. And again, like 3D touch to clear notifications, it's not quite the same because you have to 3D touch on the little X in the corner. You know, you can't just do it anywhere. But you know, it's progress, so I'll take it. Like,
yeah,
there's still a
exactly.
need for the tweak though. And I'll just mention a few more tweaks that were stolen. Okay, I shouldn't say stolen because these tweaks weren't necessarily taken. These tweaks could have just been, coincidentally added. You know what I mean?
Realistically, they were probably taken.
Well, not necessarily.
I
Like,
think so.
okay, like 3D touch to clear notifications. That's like it's like just a logical.
Yeah.
thing
Okay, that
they
one
might
makes
have thought
sense.
of.
That's true. Good point.
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
Like, I don't know. I
That's
feel
a
like a lot of these would be, but
yeah,
there's
that
just
is
no
a
way
good
to
point.
tell.
Yeah.
But anyways, here's one. It's called Cream. This essentially allows you, or it doesn't allow you to do anything. It just kind of does it. It colorizes the toggles in the control center. So when you have the toggles enabled for airplane mode, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, do not disturb, and rotation lock, it'll enable different colors for each of them. So it just looks kind of really colorful and just nice.
Yeah.
This is actually originating from the Apple Watch, on the glances view.
Yeah.
And essentially, there was a jailbreak tweak called Cream that was released a few months ago that was modeled after the Apple Watch, but now essentially that functionality has been baked into iOS 10. So it's essentially taking it from the Apple Watch and the tweak that was inspired from the Apple Watch, if that makes any sense. So there's that one. And there's also one called Floater. This is also a control center tweak. The control center, the way it's designed, it just kind of floats in midair, kind of above the bottom of the screen. Like there's space between the bezel and the actual start of the control center, so that's definitely a jailbreak tweak. Obviously, the ability to remove stock apps is incredibly popular feature, but obviously we've been able to hide apps with Springtomize or various other tweaks for a while. The animations have sped up, which is really nice. Just the time when you're launching and closing apps, much faster. And also, they opened up Siri to third-party developers, which we've been able to tweak Siri with jailbreak tweaks for a while.
And messages too. I just wanted to throw that in there.
Right. I mean, there haven't been any real tweaks that have provided the exact same functionality. Okay, I guess there was one called Graffiti from iOS 3 or something that lets you draw pictures and send them.
The fact that you even remember that is amazing.
Yeah.
Like I don't understand.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's funny. I was just looking it up, so it's not like it was
Oh, okay.
like last week I looked it up. So
I was gonna say, like, how did you even
Yeah, how do you
dude?
remember that?
yeah, I wasn't around during iOS 3, so
Andy's like our jailbreak historian on the.
I kind of am. I guess.
Yeah, that's that would be Andy's title.
But yeah, so I guess you could send drawings to people in the Messages app now. That was called Graffiti. But there's a bunch of other features in the Messages app, like bubble effects and stuff. I don't think there was jailbreak tweaks for those, but I could be wrong. But anyways, those are just a few. There's definitely more that I didn't talk about, I'm sure. But those are just some that I thought were noteworthy for the podcast.
Yeah.
Right. So there you go. It's, every year Apple definitely takes inspiration from jailbreaking, and this is another reason why you should jailbreak, even though it's not, necessarily, it might not be groundbreaking features, but you're definitely ahead of the game a little bit in terms of.
Well, I
innovation.
shouldn't. Sometimes it is groundbreaking, though.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes it definitely can be, and that's where I think it's, jailbreaking. You're always a bit ahead of the curve when it comes to stuff like that. Not to mention just simple conveniences, but jailbreaking is. There's never gonna be no use for jailbreaking, in my personal opinion. No matter how open Apple makes the operating system. So.
Right.
Yeah, there's always going to be some tweak developer out there coming up with a decent idea, even if it's something really small, just to changing the positioning of one button, or maybe it's a brand new redesign. So,
Yeah, exactly.
Eye patch. Just wanted to say that.
Eye patch.
Well,
Small
because when you
tweaks.
said like just a little simple change or two, then I was like, oh, I was thinking of eye patch.
Okay, wait. I just got Apple's next product. Okay. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding.
Eye patch.
Apple is going to make. This is going to be the pun of the century. Apple is going to make a smart monocle. Okay, and they're going to call it the eye patch.
No, the Apple Patch.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. They're switching. It.
No, eye patch is better. Like, come on.
It is, but like they're.
But
I
they're
feel
changing
like they're-
everything now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
they are changing everything
The
except the
iPad's much
iPhone.
better.
But
Yeah,
the
they don't
iPhone they
like
can't
the
really
eye.
change. They
There's
can't.
yeah. I saw a video on that. I think it was from maybe it was like College Humor or somebody. It was somebody they were doing like a parody, and they were like everybody. They were like imitating somebody. It might have been Johnny I. It might have been somebody else, but they were like everybody just calls it iWatch without us even telling you that it's iWatch. It's Apple Watch.
Exactly.
So they were like, so
Everyone
stop
assumed
calling
it
it
was an
iWatch. It's just like everybody
iWatch.
calls it the iWatch.
iWatch. Yeah, actually, you know what? It's funny because for people who don't know any better, I'll be wearing my Apple Watch and they'll walk up to me and they'll be like, "Hey, is that an iWatch?"
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I'll be like,
Yep.
Yeah.
"No,
to me.
it's an Apple Watch."
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
do
just
the
say like,
same thing.
yeah, it's an iWatch. Like, I don't know. I just try to play cool.
I do the same thing actually. I'll be like, nah, it's an Apple Watch, not an iWatch.
No, it's an Apple Watch. God.
Apple Watch.
Jesus. Ugh. Yeah. Anyways. I think that wraps up our show notes. Do you guys have anything else you want to talk about? I mean, there was a lot that was thrown at us for WWDC. We didn't really talk about the features, but do you have
Yeah.
any features that you want to mention that are,
I don't think we
exciting?
talked about it, but Mac OS Sierra highlighted feature Siri for Mac.
Yeah, that's a big
Oh
one.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
huge. Yeah.
I don't know how we forgot about that, but yeah, Siri for Mac was like leaked way ahead of time. Like
Oh,
we
yeah.
we saw the icon like way ahead of time. I think 9 to 5 was the first. It was either 9 to 5 or Mac Rumors was the first one that talked about it.
Yeah, it's funny because this is something I've been saying. Like every year, the other company that I work for, Colblind Tech, or like just different places that I podcasted at. We've always done a pre-WWDC podcast, and we've always gone around the table saying, "Okay, what's your wish for WWDC?" And I've always been saying Siri for Mac, Siri for Mac. Since Siri came out in iOS 5, I have been saying put it on the Mac. And it took them 5 years, but they finally did it.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I think it was just a natural progression. Like literally everything
no,
had Siri.
It wasn't a natural progression. They could have done this so long
yeah,
ago.
Yeah,
I
there was a
know.
big gap in the natural
Like,
progression.
That's true.
they really
Yeah.
could have done this a long time ago. But you know what? It's here now, and I'm really happy that it's here. So
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't think it works right now in the beta, or maybe it only partially works.
No,
I
it
don't know if the
works.
servers
It
are
works.
active.
It works.
Oh, it does? Okay.
Yeah.
I had issue. The reason why Andy's saying that is because I was like, "Oh, this sucks. It doesn't work." Because I had issues when I first got on Sierra. I was like, "Send a message to Andy. Tell him this is a test. Testing 1, 2, 3." And it was like, "Okay, I'll send a message to. What would you like it to say?" And I was like, "Siri, I just told you what I wanted it to say."
Yeah.
And then I'd say it again, and then it would ask me, "What would you like it to say?" And then I would say it again. "What would you like it to say?" And it would keep going over and over and over. And I was like, "Okay, this does not work." So I tried again like a day and a half later, and then it started working. So
Yeah, I think I know some other people who were having issues too, so maybe it took them a little while to activate it. So I definitely don't think that was just you having that. But
Yeah.
anyways, like in terms of iOS 10, which is the only thing that I'm really concerned with, because I mean, there's obviously WatchOS 3, but I'm not
Because you're
that
on your
into-
Windows computer.
Yeah, I mean, macOS doesn't pertain to me. WatchOS 3, it's interesting, but I'm not installing it because you can't downgrade and
Bricks.
yeah, and
Yeah.
you just can't really like.
Yeah.
Or,
I
I mean,
learned that the hard way last year. Huh?
Yeah.
Remember that story?
Oh yeah, yeah, I remember that.
Oh,
Yeah, I
man.
had to bring it into Apple, and that was before Apple even like had like a legitimate policy about like if you update your watch like to a beta software, they'll like downgrade it for you, send it back in, do whatever. Like that was before that
Yeah.
was even like a legitimate thing. Like I'm pretty sure I walked into the Apple store and I told the Genius Bar employee about it, and he was like, "Yeah, you're literally like the first person that's come in like about this issue. Like you're the first person that I've had like we've known about this. Yeah, we knew about WatchOS 2, but like you're the first person that's actually updated their watch and been stuck on WatchOS 2 because they wanted to downgrade back to 8.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. Because it's the same thing with this year. If you
Yeah.
update to WatchOS 3, you're forced to pair it with iOS 10. So if you want to downgrade to 9, you
Yeah.
can't use your watch.
And that's the
So-
reason why I will never upgrade again to a beta firmware on the watch, because if you want to downgrade beta firmwares on iOS, then you can't use it at all. You can't use your Apple Watch at all. Which is just like it's like it makes sense, but at the same time, why not just have like an Apple Watch app update so that you can, have compatibility
Yeah.
all around rather than just making it exclusive to 10. I don't know. It's
Apple's
just-
not into downgrading. I mean, we've always known this, and because
Yeah.
there's no cord for the device or no firmware files to flash, I just think
Right.
it's.
I mean, that's
really
not to say that the
something
second
available.
gen won't get you know,
Yeah, USB.
that ability.
Yeah,
but then
who
again, things
knows?
are kind of moving away from wired technology, so.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true. I mean, the whole invention of the USB-C and all that. Even though I would never want to get a MacBook. I would never want to get that.
Maybe in like
I
10
can't do
years.
it. I can't do it.
Like,
I use the USB ports on my Mac so much. I would never,
I agree.
never ever switch to just one USB-C port.
I
can't
think
do
if
it.
they had like 2 or 3 USB-C ports
Maybe,
and the technology was more adapted
Yeah.
in mainstream, maybe. But
That's true.
I think that's going to happen in a few years. It's not,
Yeah,
it's not quite
it's
there.
true.
As of right now, though, if it's just one USB port, one USB-C port, and a headphone jack, and that's literally all that's there, there's no regular USB port. There's no HDMI port, which is actually kind of surprising. I mean, I like my Mac the way it is, my MacBook Pro the way it is,
Yeah.
with USB-C,
That's
with USB 3 and all that. So
In terms of iOS 10, I'm trying to think if I have anything particularly notable that I want to mention. I like the redesigned no notifications, how everything's app by app. There's also rich notifications, which is on the 6S, how you could see
Yeah.
like context. For example, when you reply to a message on the lock screen, you just 3D touch on the message, and then it gives you like context. That's pretty neat.
That's
I also like
pretty
the
nice,
redesigned
yeah.
control center as well. But
Yeah.
iOS 10 's solid. I'm looking forward to the betas in the summer and
For sure,
releases.
yeah.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be good.
In case you guys didn't know, both iOS 10 and macOS Sierra, and I think watchOS 3 as well. Actually, I'm not 100% sure, but I would assume so. All of them have actually public betas upcoming this July. So
Right.
look forward to that if you cannot install any of the betas right now.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm loving the iOS 10 beta. I mean, I don't have it on my main device because I'm still jailbroken.
I
but,
do.
I got it on.
Yeah,
my
you're
6
lucky.
Plus.
Yeah,
I mean,
you
to
and
be
your
honest, if I had a jailbreak on my 6S still, like I wouldn't have updated it.
Oh,
I would
yeah,
have stayed
definitely
where I was. So
Oh, yeah. But I think that wraps it up.
yeah, pretty much. I think we have a few questions in the chat, so
Oh, we
should
do?
we answer them?
Oh, perfect. Yeah, let's do some
Absolutely.
questions.
All right. So,
have
Andy, you
a
want to
look
read
here.
some off, or
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you guys
Just
have
get
any
my window
questions,
up
get them
here.
in now. And
yeah, because we're about to wrap up pretty soon. So.
So.
just let us know if you guys have any questions.
Okay, I'm just gonna check through here. Okay, do you think they will release a jailbreak for iOS 10? I do definitely think so. We've had a jailbreak
Yeah.
for every iOS up until ever pretty much, all the way up to 9. So I think there'll definitely be at least one. As
Yeah,
always
I would have to agree with that. And from what we're hearing, it sounds like it's going to be sooner rather than later as well, which is good.
Yeah, and we may have another iOS 9.3.x jailbreak and then another iOS 10, or we might just not see anything until 10. There's just no way to tell.
Right.
Let's see if there's any other questions.
Felix, I don't know how to say his last name, so I'm just gonna stick to Felix. Felix says, "Why do people do that? They release a video of a working jailbreak, but they won't release it. I don't care if you can jailbreak your phone. If I can't do it, then it doesn't really matter." Is basically what he's saying. So I mean, the whole reasoning I think behind, the reason why certain people, hint, some of the people that we've talked about, the reason why certain people do that, I think, is there's a few reasons. One is to troll, because some of them really aren't, they like to do that. They like to troll. They don't really care what the rest of the community thinks, which, honestly, I don't support. I don't like trolls, obviously, which is why I have Jailbreak Busters. I do Jailbreak Busters anyway. And then there's another part of it. Yeah, shameless plug. There's another part of it where, they're actually trying to help out, believe it or not, and they're trying to show us, even though I'm not releasing it, it's possible. It's possible to jailbreak, but I'm just not going to release it. It's possible,
and
but I'm not gonna
that
release
is fair. That is a fair, and see, that's the thing, is they think so often now, people like Luca Tedesco and people like, even I Hate Snow to an extent, or even, dare I say it, Ionic.
I knew you were going to say that.
Get hit so hard for trolling, but you guys got to keep in mind, yes, some of that intent may be to troll, but at least they're showing you that it can be done,
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, that's why I don't ever, go and get upset at them on their Twitter about, oh, you guys are trolling, because you don't know. Like, they could just be showing it to show that it's done. I mean, there's a lot of, there's a lot of stuff that comes with releasing a jailbreak publicly. And I think that, on one hand, yes, it may be done to troll, but on the other, there is a lot of, publicity that people may not want. If a jailbreak gets released and it's released under their name, there's a lot of, and let's be honest here, it's usually easier just to sell security exploits to third parties.
Yeah.
Exactly, and I also just wanted to say, just as an example of that, for example, when I Hate Snow just released his iOS 10 proof video, it made me a little bit less worried, because at least I got to see Cydia was functional on iOS, and that's something we didn't know, so that's positive. But at the same time, it does sometimes bother me when people clearly don't like the jailbreak community and they continue to interact with them for no apparent reason. Again, it's their right to do that. It's just a little confusing to me, but again, it's completely their choice, so I can't.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
I mean, I just want to highlight, like Justin said, some people, I mean, it's like, if you release a jailbreak publicly, everybody's going to know who you are, everybody's going to talk about you, you're in the spotlight, whether you like it or not. So,
exactly.
That's like, you really have to make the ultimate decision. You got something, you want to release it, you want to be famous. If you want everybody to talk about you, then go ahead, by all means release it. But if you don't want to be famous and you don't want people to talk about you, you don't want a constant barrage of tweets coming to you asking when the jailbreak is going to come out, asking what it's going to support. And look, if you look at this ENMTW situation that we had months and months back, I think that's part of the reason. If he had something, that's part of the reason that influenced him to...
Okay. That's a whole nother thing, though, David, because we never actually had proof that he had a jailbreak.
Right, but I'm saying if, and if is a big, like, that's underlined, if it was true, which it could have been, and it could have been not true. We could go both ways on this, because it's most likely not, but, like, we also didn't have proof 100% verifying that this was all a lie. So, because he never really came out, and, I mean, it wasn't like, with Jailbreak Busters, for example, it wasn't like, they come out and have a proof video, and there's, like, you can see, it's a web app, like, it's fake, it takes too long to reload, it's fake, like, there are obvious signs for a lot of fakes when they release videos of proof or whatever, but yeah, so, I don't know, the point in what I was trying to say is that, it's a toss-up between if you want to publicly release it and get the attention and get, be famous and stuff, and not release it, and keep everything to yourself and not have to go through all of that, publicity and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Indeed. Yeah. I'm just gonna do one last check for questions here, but I believe
I think
Last
that's
call
all we
for
got.
questions. Last call.
that's all we got. Yep.
Yeah.
That's all she wrote.
All right, that was a good show. I'm glad we got Jarek on there for a little bit. We thought he came back, but it turns out his network was having some issues. So
Yeah, he was having network
unfortunately had to
difficulties.
go,
So.
but it was nice to get some security researcher perspective in the podcast. So
Yeah, for sure.
I enjoyed that. And I don't know. Hopefully, he'll be back
Yeah.
at some point in the future.
Maybe next week, crossing our fingers, but
Maybe next
we
year.
hope for the best.
Maybe
Yeah.
2019.
Next
maybe
year,
next,
next
maybe tomorrow.
Jarek,
You never know.
Jarek, if you're listening to this, in archives or whatever, please come back, dude.
By
Yes.
the time a new by the time a new jailbreak gets released, like 7 months from now, he'll be back on. So
Maybe.
Maybe.
it's like we won't get a new jailbreak for another 7 months, and then Jarek will come back on. Maybe. All right, guys. Well, it was
All
a good
right.
show.
Yeah, it was a very good show. I think we
Yeah.
had some good discussions. So, with that being said, thank you to Justin and David and Jarek as well for joining me today. And we'll talk to you guys next week.
See you guys.
Peace
Later.
out.
Bye-bye.
All right, productive show. Keep this part of it in, please.
I will.
No, don't do
Doesn't
it.
keep it in.
Don't do it, Andy.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to cut it off. with my
Justin, you
audio.
crushed my dreams. I hope you know that.
You crushed my dreams when you played the John Cena meme in the pre-show.
Here we go again. All right, I'm gonna cut this stream. So
All
talk
right.
to you
Yeah.
guys
Thank you guys for
later.
tuning in.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. It means a lot.
Follow us on Twitter. I wanted to say Jailbreak Weekly, but it's
Jaja.
JB_weekly.
Follow us on Twitter, JB_weekly. See you guys next week. Peace.
Peace.
Later, guys.